Twitch saying hello. I've got you saying hello. I've got little flashy lights on the screen before me. I think, I think it's time to start. I know I don't give as much of a sighting starting too soon time as I could. Anyway, it is a Thursday night, and I am a shouting. No. I am a screaming wyvern. Tonight's game is by a shouting crow. I call myself Wyvern because I hoard role playing games like a dragon, but I'm unbalanced and occasionally toxic. For example, I think bigots, racists, and transphobes should stay out of the tabletop role playing game space because it's for cooperative storytelling. And the first rule of cooperative storytelling is you don't tell another person what their personal story is. And hell yeah, that includes me. I'm just here to help the narrative along. And tonight's narrative comes to us from Justin Vandermeer of Shouting Crow Games, whose game Hedge was actually part of a bundle supporting distribute aid in trying to get necessary medical equipment to trans people across America. Although the specific bundle of which I speak is uh, closed, you can always search for distribute aid harm reduction toolkit for more information. And maybe if you look back to February. So, what is tonight's game about? Well, it's about doing things the hard way and failing. In fact, when I asked Justin what I should know, he told me that he wrote this game for his niece when she was struggling with perfectionism. My character is doing this for the first time. Failure is part of the learning process, and it's okay to not be great at something when you're new to it. All things that I, a former gifted and talented student, still haven't been able to learn. I am going to go over the storyline for this game, but I'm going to have it presented to me for me by Justin's friend Kurt Refley. And oh god, if the game output fails me like it did on Sunday's X Crawl.
Seeking Starlight. A dear friend. Samantha Hedge has a wolf's smile and raven feathers in her hair. She is the boldest and wisest witch you have ever met, and she taught you everything you know. You could not ask for a better teacher. You love magic, but what comes easy to your friend does not come easily to you. Sure, you make potions, light candles, and pray to forest deities, but your beloved teacher is on another level. Flowers bloom out of season just to surprise her, and the animals that live in her woods speak, just so that they can speak to her. It is hard to tell where the Starlight Forest ends and Samantha begins. That's the problem, really. When bad things started happening to the forest, bad things started happening to its Starlight Witch. Now she's missing. Quiet fear. No one knows where the Great Witch went. You've cast every spell you know to bring her back, but the Starlight Manor is still empty. Your mystic powers come from the forest, just like Samantha's. Maybe that's the problem. It's almost as though the well of power you draw from is running dry. A wish on a fallen star might help. You just need to find a star. You saw one falling the night your teacher disappeared. In the meantime, you need to make the forest ready for the Starlight Witch's return. New problems crop up every day. Staying on top of it all feels impossible, but you have to start somewhere. The first step is always the hardest, but you can do this. Start now. A footnote. Before you start, shuffle the deck you intend to play with and make sure both jokers are inside.
So let's go back up. Let's get making sure that store page is clearly visible for when this hopefully goes viral because of how awesome the game is. All right, as you can see, I've recreated the character sheet over here. I just edited the spreadsheet type thing. Didn't bother with the portrait. The portrait is down there in the corner. You can already see me. Um, I'll go ahead and fill this in um, once as soon as we have the explanation of such things. But I just like to book as it's written. All right, character creation. You begin this game with 6 points to distribute between two skills: clever and brave. You should not assign more than 4 points to a single skill during the character creation phase. Clever problem solving tends to require a certain amount of consideration and time. If your approach to a situation is thoughtful, cautious, or takes a bit of preparation, it is probably a clever thing to do. Weaving a net to catch a fish or scattering a trail of breadcrumbs for birds to follow are examples of clever action. Brave problem solving tends to be immediate and forceful. If your approach to a situation is direct, quick, or risky, it is probably a brave thing to do. Jumping into a river to rescue a drowning badger or dueling with a fairy are example of brave actions. So, um, I get 6 points. I think that I am going to go ahead and make sure that one of these skills is maxed out for proper challenge. I am going to be more clever than brave. Let's go ahead and obviously I know what my name is because I always make a character with the same name because it's there behind me where I can remember. Gift of life and must be properly shown love. Pronouns are DM. Nothing too exciting about. Magic. You start the game with one wild point. Wild points represent your witch's magic and attunement with the natural world. In the beginning, you can spend wild points to cast up to 6 magic spells. You can also exchange 6 wild points for a single skill point up to 3 times per game. Did I give myself another spot? 1, 2, 3, 4. Add space by mistake. If you want to use magic to address a challenge, you don't have to test your skill or roll a die. Simply spend a wild point, then decide what spell you are casting and how it solves the problem. Remember to mark the card on your character sheet. Earning wild points. Nature rewards your determination. Anytime you successfully resolve a tough rated challenge with a skill instead of magic, gain a wild point. Gain 2 wild points when you successfully resolve a hard rated challenge with skill instead of magic. Microphone is varying a lot on what it picks up. Curse you, microphone. Yeah, it seems to be stopping. Okay, let's go ahead and pause it for a moment. Audio assistant, tell me. Whoa, you're very low on there. Oh, okay. I say pause, but let me just go ahead and be doing my testing through. It game output is on when I don't need it to be. It's off when I do need it to be. As long as it's all working, that's all I care about. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it decided that it was going to go ahead and lower the input. Um, Go ahead and drop me a note if that happens again. We're not interrupting anyone's playtime. Okay. Good. Earning wild points. Yeah. So hard rated challenges and skill instead of magic. Okay. How to play. Before you play, you will need two six-sided dice shown here, and a standard deck of cards shown here, including two jokers. Go ahead and also push this up a little bit. I'm paranoid. Curse you, last Sunday's recordings. Um, Keeping track, if you are playing a solo game, record your witch's experience in a journal or an audio log shown here. If you have two players, currently don't. Let's see. Begin the game by reading the Seeking Starlight scenario on the following page, which we have done. Record your personal experience and then generate your first event. Now, I am going to go ahead, shuffle up the deck, and in addition, I am going to take a recommendation that Justin made for me. I am going to go ahead and cut this in half. And I'm going to put one of the jokers into this bottom half. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to do 1, 2, and put this joker in here. I'm also going to flip over the joker so it fits in better. So, if we skip ahead a bit, we have an explanation of what the jokers do. The first joker, is for the midpoint of the game, or thereabouts, where you have to deal with the fact that you haven't been successful at everything that you've wanted to do. So, to make sure that things go smoothly for the stream, Justin recommended that I go ahead and put my first joker right there in the middle so that we can have events happen before the game reaches that midpoint. The second joker is the actual game over. So let's go ahead, bounce right back up to the top. Okay. So each time you would like to begin a new scene, draw a card and then find the related prompt inside the book. Each prompt contains an obstacle which must be faced before you can move forward. When you are finished, discard the card. We have this opportunities for growth, clever solutions, and brave solutions. That's going to be tracking the cards, which, if I was successful, yay. And if I was unsuccessful, then it will go into this one. And the reason for that is that after some self reflection, I may be able to go back and try some of these again. So, um, each prompt contains, when you're finished, discard the card. You may make 2 attempts to resolve any given challenge. To determine if your attempt is a success or failure, decide which skill applies to the situation, roll 1d6, and then add the value of that skill. If the task is especially stressful, roll 2d6, but only use the lowest number. So all of you D&D grognards will know that is disadvantage. Very tragical. Equal to or higher. Standard things were just standard D&D logic. We're just using 6-sided instead of the 20. So, as you can see, to beat an easy challenge, I just need a 6, which means that for clever solutions, that should be fairly easy. Oh, hey, that probably explains why that was the word used. Tough challenges are a 9, and a hard challenge requires a 12. So, um, unless my math is wrong, I'm not going to win a hard challenge with the way things are right now. How interesting. I wonder if that's why wild points can be used to increase your skills. In the beginning, you will fail often. That's okay. You should look at these setbacks as opportunities to grow. At, and anytime you struggle with a challenge, you should make a note on your character sheet. Keep track of those cards. You'll need them when you draw the first Joker. Enjoy your adventure. Okay, so um, this is going to be our first turn. Put the cards. Where do I want to put the cards? I don't actually need this on the screen because it is literally on the screen already. Okay. Um. Find the prettiest way to do this. Move these dice down and the deck as well. All right. Top card. Flip that over. That is the 7 of diamonds. Those are spades, diamonds. All right. This is going to be a tough challenge. Let me quickly pull up the information so that I'm not constantly scrolling up. Okay. So that means that whatever I am choosing to do, I'm going to need to roll a 9. A traveling salesman has been selling fake remedies to local villagers. When he is caught, he claims he brought them from you, and a lot of people believe him. Okay, so identity theft is not a joke. Um, I feel like the best thing to do here is to just just basically put the salesman on trial. I think that letting him tell his side and taking a chance to um, respond would be the best thing. I think that that is a clever skill use. However, um, we're going to go ahead and accept the fact that this is a scary situation. Being told that you're responsible for harm is always going to be stressful. So I'm going to go ahead and do the disadvantage thing. Let's go ahead and roll the dice. So that means that my clever skill, my roll would be a 6, which is extremely too small for a tough difficulty rating. I do get to try one more time. Let's go ahead and do that. And a 2 came up again. I don't even know what that number. Okay, that's apparently that's the 6, but that 2 remains a problem. So let's go ahead and put down that Seven of Diamonds was, if not a failure, an opportunity for growth. And I'm going to go ahead and put the unsuccessful actions into a discard pile here. Okay. Let's see what's next. This is the Two of Diamonds, a nice and easy one. A hollow tree has become the center of conflict for two families of squirrels. Both groups seem to think the stash of acorns inside belongs to them, and they refuse to share. This is a far less stressful situation. Let's go ahead and put one of the dice to the side. The only situation in a situation like this, what did I just say? The only solution in a situation like this is the Gordian knot one, obviously. Um, if I am faced with two families of squirrels who both have used the same location as their storehouse, um, they are they are going to need to just accept that they need to split it and find another storehouse. So that's not something that you can deal with in clever ways. That one's definitely going to be a brave. So let's go ahead and boldly explain to them that this is what must happen. And with a 5, a 6, and a 7, that one was a success. It's no. What have I done? Format. Format, merge cells, and horizontal lines. There we go. Don't know why that came out wrong, but I did a brave solution for the Two of Diamonds. Okay, and we'll go ahead and put those down here. All right. It is time for our third little scene. A Jack of Spades. That is, spades were up here. All right, this is a hard. So this is going to be next to impossible. A supernaturally large but short-sighted toad believes you are the most delicious-looking bug he has ever seen. He is a slow hunter, but wherever you go, he follows. Until the situation is successfully resolved, all actions taken during the day must use the brave skill. Well, that is interesting. Okay. Until the situation is successfully resolved, all actions taken during the day must use the brave skill. Just go ahead and pop up a little reminder of that for myself. Let's see. Can Whoa, that was absolutely too much. Okay, I'll just keep it on my regular screen. Um. So obviously, this is not going to be something that I can fix anytime soon. I I think this is going to have to be a use of magic. I am definitely going to want to distract him with an actual largest, tastiest bug he has ever seen. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I cannot count worth a darn, can I? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have spent my wild point and used it to deal with the Jack of Spades. And we'll go ahead and put it there I mean, hopefully actually getting him the largest, juiciest bug he's ever wanted. That would probably make him happy. Which would make up for me using the wild point. So I no longer have spells as an option, which means the next thing is going to be just as unfortunate. An ace of diamonds. See? Um, a boy from a nearby village begins digging for gold in the banks of the sacred stream. Whenever he goes home with little lumps of yellow metal in his pocket, more people follow him back. Until this is fully addressed, the water runs brackish instead of clear. So so the water is brackish because of failure on the ace of diamonds. So basically anything having to do with the water in the area is going to be a problem unless I can go back and fix that. Okay, so it's not going the best yet. So what I need is a tough encounter, which doesn't terrify me for any reason, so that I can start earning some wild points again. A 5 of clubs. A lonely bull moose spends all his days pining after a unicorn, but the noble cloven hoofed beauty doesn't seem to notice he exists. I do not think that this is a good combination. A a moose is a large, clumsy animal, more akin to a bull than a horse, and a unicorn is graceful. But how do you tell someone who has a crush that that's the case? Probably with a lot of sitting down and talking to both sides. Maybe if we can at least convince the unicorn to be friends with the moose, then they'll be able to move to a better place, and maybe explaining to the moose that he really is too large uh, for the unicorn might make for a good combination. And who knows, given the unicorn's proclivity towards virginal girls, what was that word? Virginal girls. The unicorn may not be the type of person who would appreciate that at all. So I believe that this is definitely going to be a clever situation. So this is easy. Let's go ahead and roll the die. And that is a 5, but I do get one more try. And that is a 2. So that is a 6. So that is my first clever solution of the evening. Like, there's no really nice way to do that. Just have to explain literally the birds and the bees. I hope I don't have a situation where I have to explain the birds and the bees to the birds and the bees. That's going to get complicated. Oh dear. Speaking of clubs, okay. Carnivorous vines that feed during the day and go dormant at night infiltrate your woods. You must tread carefully and be aware of your surroundings until the situation is successfully resolved. Problems solved during daylight hours must use the clever skill. Let's go ahead and okay. It definitely looks like I am left to my druthers with respect to deciding if it's day or night. So, um, problems solved during daylight hours must use the clever skill. This is not the most terrible disadvantage for me, but it is a problem nonetheless. So obviously I need to roll a 12 for a hard challenge. And cannot make brave actions during the day. Six, 10, much less than 12. Okay. 9 of clubs. Apparently, it is club time. This is a tough one. The river. Oh, dear. The river has started running a few degrees warmer, which is not surprising because of the aforementioned gold farming. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Um, so the fish are migrating elsewhere. A lot of the animals are thinking about following them. I was already in a situation where I could prevent this from happening, and I was unsuccessful. And this sounds like a daytime thing, so um, I need to come up with a clever solution. So the main problem is that the rivers are getting warmer, probably because of things becoming brackish. And I don't have the ability to fix that at this time. What I do have is a forest. Okay, so what was that? That was the Jack of Spades that I was dealing with. I'm sorry, the Ace of Diamonds. Spades, Ace of Hearts, Ace of Diamonds. Okay. In the banks of the sacred stream. Yick. So that really means any lakes are going to be just as affected because it's not that, you know, he's doing stuff and it's specifically affecting that river. It's he's doing stuff and it's causing the sacred stream to lash out angrily. We know there's a unicorn. It's probably reasonable to assume that if there's a unicorn, there's other magical creatures. So if we could get something big, like a rock or giant bat, depending on the time, to go ahead and shuffle up some snow from nearby mountains, that would help fix the problem until we can find a more permanent solution. I may be trading one problem for another when the bill comes due, but it's absolutely worth a try. So this is a tough challenge. I need a 9. Seven, eight, nine. So I need a 5 or a 6. All right. I have been successful with that clever solution, which means I now gain one more wild point. Um, 6 wild points to increase a roll. That's going to be interesting to get to. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is scene number 7. The King of Clubs. Oh, I am so glad that we're still in the clubs. Who would want to move away into a different face? Oh yeah, we're not going to be saving up those wild points anytime soon. The sun is tired and doesn't want to rise ever again. He dims his light and hides on the horizon all day, claiming to be feeling unwell. Until this is resolved and the sun is convinced to climb the sky again, the forest is plunged into an endless night. That sounds like a very bad time for all. Let's not have that be happening. Um, of course, the problem is I can prevent this from happening, but it's going to stop me from getting better. But that is pretty devastating. Yeah, I think the wild point is gained and the wild point is lost. Um, oh dear. Um, like whatever is upsetting him, I'm going to need to just find a way to like if someone's offended him, use magic to go ahead and deal with that, or if he's just missing out on something, then go ahead and hide that. You can go ahead and go here. Let's go ahead. As long as I can go back and read them, that's all that matters. Okay, so this is technically a resolved hard situation. Let's see what happens next. A nine of spades. A tough one. A stack of three raccoons wearing a trench coat are on a crime spree, robbing villagers' homes and making a terrible mess. They call themselves the Stumbling Man. I would like to play the song about three possums in a trench coat, but the last time I tried to play a lovely ditty, I got copyright struck, and there was a section of the sound which was lost again. So let's not do that. Um, but this one is a pretty easy to figure out one. Um, Obviously, it's a matter of setting up traps. It's a matter of setting up patrols, figuring out where they're going to be next, and for heaven's sake, getting the trench coat away from them and probably snipping it up, as tragic as it seems to do something like that to a trench coat. So, as a tough and clever solution, once again, it's a 5 or a 6. It's a 5 or a 6. Oh, and despite having the best of ideas, I was not able to make that work out. Pity. Could have probably used trenchcoat material to make a nice quilt. Okay, flip that, and the 6 of diamonds. Those are spades. Still, there's our diamonds. I'm paranoid that I had clicked on the wrong place. Also, let's go ahead and put the discard pile over there. And the completed pile can go right there. Okay, 6 of diamonds. The little spore people who live inside the sinkhole are feeling unwell. You know how to make a medicine that can help them, but the key ingredient is hard to find. Okay. Easy enough to say this is going to be a clever one, because this is one of those situations where you need to pool together your resources. All the people and animals, and the animals who are also people. Have them check and keep an eye out for the missing ingredient. Reach out to neighboring forests to see if anyone has access to it. And just in general, spin a web to try and catch whatever the ingredient is. Made more ironic if I decide that it's some kind of moth, which would make spinning a web to get it the perfect solution. But yeah, that is definitely going to take cleverness, not bravery. That is too low. And that is also too low. My web has failed me. The poor spore people are still not feeling well. I don't like that. 9 of diamonds. I don't have to Oh great. I'm looking for missing ingredients, and what happens? A peevish goose seems determined to ruin your day. It keeps stealing your things and pulling plants out of your herb garden. So there's even more of the ingredients that have gone missing. Thank you so much. There is no clever solution to this. This is obviously something that's going to make me too angry to handle it in a calm, thoughtful fashion. So I would really want to do a man on goose combat. But of course, I am awful at combat encounters, as it were. So 6, 7, 8. There is no way for me to conclude this. I forgot to put this one down. So we're going to have to put that into the loss pile. He wasn't kidding when he said that this was going to be mostly failures to start with. All right, a 7 of hearts. A geyser bursts through the ground, becoming the mouth of a new hot spring. That's not going to help the river. The water is oddly salty, and animals become sick when they drink it. Well, then they should not drink it. Part of it is just going to be education, stay away from it. Part of it is going to be building up barriers and signs. Um, it's definitely going to be a cleverness one. Let's see how this one goes. This goes well. That was a good solution. So I was able to convince the animals to stay away, Why they would think that salt tea was a good idea, I don't know. But that does mean I have access to a wild point. So one down, five to go, which means that I'm going to get an ace or something equally horrible. Okay, this is not equally horrible. Two of clubs. This should be a nice, relaxing one. A coniferous tree starts leaking an absurd amount of sap. Insects and birds keep getting trapped in the ooze. Um, Excuse me for that. That's how you know that I am a real streamer and not an AI. Um, is playing Tree Doctor brave or clever? Really don't think there's a good brute force way of dealing with this tree is leaking sap. I think it requires care and caution and um, definitely research to find a good way to splice something in that will help the sap run along a more useful route, or at the very least, pine tar could be put to other uses, I guess. But this is definitely a clever one. I can't think of any way to not have it be a clever one for a change of pace. And it always seems to be perfect sixes or too low. Uh, that's funny. Okay, two two of clubs. So let's go ahead and just quickly check. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Seven. Perfect. One, two, three, four, five. Six, one. Okay, nine of diamonds. Six of diamonds. Nine of spades. Oh, not that big a deal. But the character sheet is here for a reason. Okay, so that was an easy one, so no points. What's next? Another jack of hearts, which means we may once again be losing the wild point. Hearts, hearts, hearts. There we go. Jack of Hearts. An enormous golden carp is tearing up the bottom of the lake, muddying the clear water. Villagers have set traps to catch it. Local fish are struggling to find food and getting caught in abandoned nets. Once this is successfully resolved, add 1 point to one of your skills. Oh, well, I guess at least when I take the easy way out, I'm going to get something back for it. So yeah, if I can add 1 point to one of my skills, making it more possible for me to think of a way to do hard challenges like this without using magic. Okay, so hard is 12, which means I'm still not clever enough to be solving these kind of things without magic. But for now, um, obviously the solution is to find the carp a much larger lake. Um, well, it's tearing up the bottom of the lake, muddying the clear but brackish water. Um, if it's tearing up the bottom of the lake, there must be something it's looking for. So using the magic to actually dig it down is probably a much better solution than simply moving it to a new place. So um, we will expand the lake to find whatever it is that it is so interested in having. And that is the Jack of Diamonds, which means I have used up half my magical opportunities. Okie dokie. A Three of Hearts. The voles have expanded their network of tunnels below your home. They didn't dig deep enough, and they get mad when you accidentally step through their ceiling. Um, is impromptu construction clever or brave? Uh, I would say grabbing some wood and grabbing some nails is probably leaning more to the brave skill than the clever skill. So let's go ahead and go for that. Since this is an easy encounter, I need a 4 better. And there's my beloved 6 again. So 3 of hearts. Put that into the success pile. And the 10 of clubs. A tough one, to be sure. Clubs, clubs, clubs. Oh, a lightning strike knocks down several large trees, destroying dozens of villagers' houses. Their plans to rebuild requires intensive logging and mining. So obviously, that means that a lot of discussion is necessary, a lot of finding solutions to prevent the trees from becoming overly angry and make sure no non villagers are um, lose their homes. So definitely sitting down and mapping these things out is going to take some cleverness. So let's go ahead and see where the clever goes. That is not clever enough. 5, 6, 7 does not quite reach 9. So let's try our second try. And that is a 4, which is actually successful. So we can go ahead and add that to our clever solution list. Okay, 10, 16, 38. Yeah, that's correct. Oh dear. Oh, that was a tough one, which means I get my wild point back so that I can obviously spend it immediately. A constant stream of smoke rises from the chimney of the Starlight Manor, despite a lack of fire in the hearth. It smells like burning hair. An unseen voice whispers your name whenever you approach the building. Until this is successfully resolved, reduce your brave skill by 1 point. Um, What? Why do I have a note here saying that I can't make brave actions during the day? Jack of spades. Okay, I actually use magic to make that give it a bug. So um I think I'm going to accept this as a failure. Bravery is reduced by 1 due to Ace of Clubs. And we'll just go ahead and put that in the failure. My brave skill was never my strongest point anyway, so I'll just go ahead and be like Scooby and only do it for Scooby snacks. The Queen of Diamonds. A cougar is badly injured. Since their mother is unable to hunt, her pair of adolescent kittens go out in search of meat. They are poor hunters, but the domestic flocks of the local village are easy prey. Once the situation is successfully resolved, gain an additional wild point. Okay, well, the wild point is taken away and then given. Yeah, I wish I could do something clever here. I've got ideas, but mostly it's just going to be about magically healing the mother so that she can go hunting properly again. The 10 of Diamonds. A new species of mushroom spreads rapidly across this forest. It explodes with a loud bang and a plume of white dust when touched. The forest is very loud. Well, at least it's a mushroom and not a toadstool, or it would be a lot worse than just a bang. That's how you get Last of Us. Um, and obviously, if you touch it, it explodes, which means that Brave Solution wouldn't be a good idea here, even if I wanted to. Even if I could roll a 9 under the circumstances. So when it touches, it explodes into spores, which spreads it even more. Once again, education, signs, all that sort of stuff, but really going to have to, do something like it's going to have to be 1 by 1. It's really not that much of a choice. Cloth over it, wet cloth should keep all the spores caught, and then you can just go ahead and pluck it out. I hope it's tasty to somebody because we're going to have a lot of mushroom stems if this works out. So this is going for a 9, of course, so 50-50 chance. 5 is a good one. So we were indeed able to find someone to eat the stems. So let's go ahead and add that. Another 10. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep. Okay, all is good. The 4 of Spades. The forest has gone unnaturally quiet. A domestic cat is prowling the forest, killing all the songbirds in her path. She's not hungry. She just enjoys hunting. Well, obviously, there is no clever solution. We just need to go ahead and beat the songbird eating out of the cat. We need a 5 or a 6 here. That is a 1. Oh, bugger. Okay. So we are still losing songbirds, and this is why it's very important to not have an outdoor cat, uh, because they will wreck the bird population. The more you know, or something like that. 4 of spades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Make sure I've kept everything. You did it again. What did you forget? The one that you voluntarily refused to go with. So that is the ace of clubs that needs to be on this list. Which is why I even have a note about it here. Yep. 2 aces causing me problems. How rude. Okay, flip this over, and it is the Queen of Hearts. Queen of Hearts. The fairy folk are throwing a party and have left gates to their realm open all over the forest. Since the doors are hidden, folk keep slipping in and out of the realm and getting lost. Until this is successfully resolved, reduce your clever skill by 1 point. But I can't fix it with cleverness. I think that using magic on the Fey folk would just be opening a huge can of Fey worms. So I'm going to go ahead and accept um, the penalty to my cleverness. Okay. And we'll go ahead and mark that down to 4 for now. The Queen of Spades. A swarm of overprotective wasps have sworn themselves to your service, refusing to believe a hedge witch can take care of themselves. Your ego is compromised. Until this is successfully resolved, reduce your brave skill by 1 point. Hey, I could be completely incapable of doing bravery. Um, I have a wild point and 2 spell slots left. It seems really rude to magic away the wasps just because they wanted to be helpful to me. Obviously, I can't showcase that I'm brave in this particular situation. curse my soft and cowardly heart. Brave is reduced by 1 due to Queen of Spades. Go ahead and put her over there. Queen of Spades, Queen of Hearts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did I track everything properly? I did. Perfect. Okay. The 6 of Spades, an opportunity to redeem myself. Lantern lights keep leading village children into the woods at night. Sometimes the kids return with perfect twins who share their memories and faces. Wow, could that have anything to do with the myriad and unwanted you used to want me to story tell, woman.
What did I do?
I saw you adjusting your headset, probably because I was being too loud.
No, it's because my ear hurts.
Education, education, education. We don't do the lantern lights. But yeah, I mean, this isn't the worst outcome of them ending up in Fey areas. Organize patrols, get people watching out for the lantern lights, work on mapping out the portals to the Fey realm. Just the usual stuff that you have to do when, let's face it, kids are being dumb. I have a clever of 4 now, so I need a 5 or a 6. That is a 1. So, like I said, I need a 5 or a 6. That is a 3. So, despite me knowing how to fix the problem, I was unable to convince everyone to follow through with my plan. Sounds a lot like how business works. The Queen of Hearts. That's not a heart, that's a club. Okay. A forest fire cuts a swath of destruction through the woods and the little cottage you call home. Rumors run rampant. The Fae blame you and your candles for the incident and put a minor curse on you. Until this situation is successfully resolved, you cannot use fire. That is fine because I absolutely am not going to let this particular situation go. We do not. Nope, that is a club still. Also, these grow to the same size as everything else. Doop, doop, doop. Yes. Okay. 13? Yes. So we're going to go ahead and put that as another magically fixed situation. And there is our first Joker. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that means. I am going to go ahead and have this red as well. Because as much as I am no longer upset about my voice.
Joker 1. Facing
Hurt is
failure.
better.
Growing pains. You come across a reflecting pool in the forest. Look at your mirror image in the water. This journey has been challenging, but the person you are looking at is braver and more clever than you previously imagined. You're a hedge witch. You have what it takes to make the world a better place. Plunge back into the forest. Retrace your steps and find the tasks you left undone. This is going to be hard, and you may not succeed, but there is something to be learned from trying again. Learning from mistakes. Examine your list of opportunities for growth and select up to 6 scenarios that you are interested in revisiting right now. Count the number of times you have failed up until this moment. Divide that number in half, rounding up. You may now make this many attempts to resolve this group of revisited events. When you are done, take some time to appreciate how hard you have worked and how far you have come. From now on, you may use your wild points to physically invigorate yourself. Each time you spend a wild point, you may make 2 skill attempts to revisit any failed challenge. If you fail a reattempt, add a point to one of your skills, to a per-game maximum of 4 additional points per skill. If you continue to revisit events after you are fully leveled up, you may choose to roll 2d6 and use only the highest number, plus the relevant skill. A footnote: you cannot revisit an event you have already successfully resolved.
Okay, I don't have any wild points right now. I feel like I shouldn't do this tactically. But let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I can try 6 times to revisit these particular ones. Okay. So we have the ones that are going to be close to impossible to revisit. Okay. My cleverness is currently reduced because of the portals from the Fey realm. If I was able to succeed at these other reattempts, which you can't see because my face is in the way, then I would have at least 1 spell point and can close the fairy gates successfully. So I think that is going to be my plan. So, we are going back and we are trying a few things that we failed at before. There's our reflecting pool. I forgot that this was a thing. That feels very silly. Okay. So, first we are retrying the 7 of diamonds. This was my very first failure. That's a good place to start. I had attempted to convince people by sitting down and talking it through with them, but at the time, I was too stressed to handle it properly. Now that I've had a chance to reflect and revisit, I think that I can assume that's no longer the case. So let's go ahead and I get up to 6 retries. And of course, that one succeeds immediately. So we go ahead and we get a wild point. And we move the 7 of diamonds from the opportunity to the solution. The 9 of diamonds. This was the peevish goose. At the time, I could only think of a brave solution for it, which is not going to be very helpful in this situation since I need to roll a 9. But now I can probably come up with a clever solution. In fact, the best solution I can think of right now is to separate out the garden. I will have my part, and I will plant some for the goose. Either this should be an acceptable option because it will give the goose something to waste my time with, or it's going to be happy because I'm being kinder to it. Let's go ahead and see what happens. And that is a 5. So that moves that from a failure, an opportunity, to a solution. Okay, the 6 of diamonds. So really, the original solution that I had for the poor little spore people um, is still valid. Just need to go ahead and cast out a wider net this time. And so that moves. And that's 3, actually. Okay. The 9 of spades. This was the stack of 3 raccoons, and I can't believe that I wasn't able to make this work before because I guess people weren't willing to watch out well enough to keep their things safe, just because they were annoyed with me for something. But this time, that's 8. Third attempt, and there we go. Little bit of elbow grease, and things end up going your way. Okay. Hold on a second. One. Oh no, I hadn't done the. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why don't I have 4 wild points? Probably because I cannot count. Okay, so the 6 of spades was the lantern lights. So once again, mapping, tracking, and all that good stuff. 2. Not quite enough. And there's a 5. So that puts me at 5 wild points. And the 6 of spades has been moved. It's not a huge thing, but okay. Go ahead and sort just this little spot. Okay. And you go down there. And you go there. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and make the Queen of Hearts our last spell cast, which of course brings me back down to 4 wild points. So now all of those lovely little portals have been changed from just invisible ones to brightly glowing MMORPG type things. And we can go ahead and discard that for the moment. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 because of the Joker. We are all properly tracked. Okay. The 10 of Hearts. A beaver's dam floods an area riddled with coyote dens, displacing dozens of young families. Their constant squabbles for territory are getting disruptive. And of course, this is going to require engineering to fix. So, yeah, build a plan, adjust the dams, get the coyote dens back in shape. Not like that. And not like that. So, from now on, you may use your wild points to physically invigorate yourself. Each time you spend a wild point, you may make 2 skill attempts to revisit any failed challenge. If you fail a reattempt, add a point to one of your skills to a per game maximum of 4. Okay, let's go ahead and try and finish fixing this one up. That is a 4. That is an 8. Not quite good enough. One more try. And so I still haven't succeeded, but I will learn from it, which brings my cleverness up a point. 8, 7. 7 is the maximum. I'm currently down a point because of the Queen of Hearts. No. I just redid that one. So actually, my clever is at 6. Much better. Okay. Did that change anything? 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, that would be a loop. Okay, no, that doesn't change anything. But still failure. Okay. So I used a wild point to complete that. The 2 of Hearts, an easy one. A pond favored by tiny green frogs is drying up. Soon there will be no place for these glossy amphibians to spawn. They need your help. Well, we already have a problem with beavers, so if we can get the beavers to help, they would be able to reroute water to the frog pond, which would make everyone quite happy. Why are you small again? That was flip instead of roll. Let's try rolling. Okay. So that worked out fine. The 9 of Hearts. The road that runs through the forest is in bad repair. The mud is so bad that people have been cutting new trails. The sudden increase in traffic is disturbing wildlife. I feel like I'm just going to keep on badgering the beavers, which is somewhat ironic. But yeah, engineering is cleverness. So, really the best way to deal with this is to just go ahead and raise up the roads, logs and stuff, find dead trees, get them into place and into shape. Let's see if this will work okay for me. 5, that absolutely will. So we'll go ahead and put that back into the win column and earn a wild point from that. So my clever skill is currently 6. I need a 12, so I still have just a tiny chance. The 3 of Spades. This isn't going to improve my situation, but a plump, tired bear has eaten so many salmon he no longer fits in his den. The irritable growler is making his neighbors nervous. He needs a new place to rest. Or, hear me out here, we could go ahead and revise his current den to more properly fit his expanding form. And as it has been the entire time, engineering is cleverness. And quite clever it is too. I am going to need some more space for cleverness, of course. Seeing as how I can't cast any more spells, it's not exactly the most painful situation. Properly do that. And now it's all pretty again. Okay, 3 of Spades was successful. The 5 of Spades. A tinker gnome keeps leaving his personal possessions in strange places. Some of his tools could be dangerous, so he needs help finding them. Well, even if this was a situation where bravery would be the best, no, it's not a situation where bravery can be the best. The only way to do it is to probably get him a companion who will keep track of his things, something like a hummingbird or something like that. So let's go ahead and roll this. And that was immediately successful. So we can just go ahead and tally that up. And that is the second Joker. When you draw the second Joker card, the game ends. So we are going to tally up the value of the cards that were solved with magic over the course of your game. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and unmerge all of these. Okay. So an ace of diamonds. Well, let's go ahead and do this first. The Jack of Spades is going to be a 12. The King of Clubs is going to be a 14. The Jack of Diamonds will be another 12. The Queen of Diamonds will be a 13. The Queen of Clubs is a 13. The Queen of Hearts is a 13. So 51, actually 77. Okay, so magical solutions, 77 points for magical solutions. Clever solutions. Okay. 5, 9, 7, 2, 10, 10, 7, 9, 6, 9, 6, 2, 9, 3, 5. That is a total of 99. And Brave Solutions is 5. That's a lot easier to read. Okay. So failures don't matter. Only successes, depending on how you've done it. So if either result is a negative number, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Maybe starting at both of them 3 would have been a much better idea. If either result is a negative number, refer to the fade to the mundane ending on the next page to see what befalls the Starlight Forest. I will turn this over to
Fade
Nate.
to
Kurt.
mundane ending. Magic flows out of the Starlight Forest like tears as the legendary font of power is overdrawn. The light of the cosmic tree sputters out, the fairy retire back to their realm, even the nature spirits drift away. There's nothing supernatural about this place anymore. Samantha Heddy wouldn't recognize her forest anymore. There's not a lot of it left after the village expands into a full-blown city. This isn't always a bad thing. You still have a little bit of the gift that your teacher helped you foster. You can't work miracles, but mothers still come to you with their children for blessings, and young men still ask you to interpret their dreams. Your new mundane life is marvelous in its own way. You never forget Samantha, but you make new friends. They think you're absolutely magical with or without raven feathers in your hair. 2 footnotes. Magic is a tool that some people may need or want to use more than others. And you shouldn't have to do everything the hard way to be a happy and respected person.
And that was our first playthrough of Hedge. Um, that's slightly sad. It's slightly sad that I overused magic and therefore um let the magic flow out of the region like one of the rivers that the beavers kept on uh overdoing. So I am wildly curious as to whether or not I can come to a better ending knowing just exactly what the cost of magic is. Because, of course, I didn't want to spoil my first playthrough. So you can look forward to me revisiting this next week. And that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed your little visit to our forest. And we'll see what happens next week when our little hedge witch tries to do things a little more personally. And as always, remember to be one of the good ones because there remain way too many of the bad. And I will see you next week. Good night.